All right, are we looking at fraternal twins or are we looking at identical twins? Similar, right? Similar in shape, similar in design, similar in size. But just because they look the same, do they work the same? Are they built the same? Well, that's what we're going to try to find out today. So we're going to go ahead and look at the MJJC S version 3. Right? Everyone knows about this one. And the SPS no name, right? So they look very similar, don't they? You know? Oh, and then by the way, this is the little protection plasti dip that I put on the bottom side of the foam cannon. It actually makes it a little bit heavier and a little bit sturdier. You know, when it stands up, it actually doesn't fall as easy, believe it or not. So yeah, let's tear this thing apart. But before we do that, let's kind of look at all the different directions and kind of like compare what we're looking at. You know, let's look at the ends. Let's look at the way things move and see if there's any differences. All right. This is Talking with Cars. All right, so let's look at the side profile first and kind of take a look at what we're. I'm going to move this camera around a little bit, but let's look at the side profiles first and see if we see any differences. I mean, right now, I think at first you kind of see that this looks similar in terms of the way that this connects. I mean, the connection detail is identical, right? If you look at that connection detail that everyone's happy with the quarter turn, right? Easy on, easy off. Same thing. The MJJC, let's just double check real quick, does seem a little bit more snug than this one, but than the SPS, but not bad. The dimensions of these look the same. There is a slight difference in the way the neck joins up to the manifold, if you really look at that. So there's a slight difference there. They're both made out of brass. They both have, you know, the ability to be able to change pattern and then the direction of the pattern, right? They both do that, right? Now, the MJJC does move a little bit easier. I can do it one-handed, where this one, you know, you could do it one-handed, but it's kind of like a little bit more snug. Changing the direction of the flow, horizontal, vertical. Definitely a little bit stiffer on the MJJC, not by much, but it is. I mean, this, right, for adjustment is the same. Let's see if the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A couple more turns on this one. I've always said that these are kind of useless to begin with anyway, because no one really uses them. They just put them on maximum, and then you know, they kind of leave it. Both of them come with a 1.25 millimeter orifice on these. Let's take this one apart. They both have this quick connect, right, with an O-ring in there. If you can see that. Let's take the MJJC out. So slight differences. They're definitely manufactured by two different companies. The dimensions, the shape of the circle in here are different. This one is kind of like a hexagon. Yeah, and then this one's circular. So that's interesting, right? But they both have, like, they're both brass with like a stainless steel end on it. And then the ends, the MJJC, the sidewall is definitely thicker. I don't know if you could see that. Can you see that? The sidewall of this piece right here is thicker on here, so it's definitely a little bit better. Yeah, I'm sure the quality of the MJJC is probably a little bit better. The internal piece here, same, right? The orifice, same. You can get it with a flathead screwdriver. Not a big deal. I don't know. I mean, they're both very similar. no question about it. This is the inside of this one. No different, right? This one actually is marked. Actually, this is, I'm sorry, this is marked 1.1. So if this is a 1.25, then I'm going to change this to a 1.25. Because when I do take this out and put soap in it, I want to see apples to apples. You know, are they both working the same? If they're not, then we're going to change this back to a 1.1, which is what it came with. But it did come with a couple different orifices. They said send me SPS, just so you know, just a disclaimer, they sent me these for free. They sent me new orifices. They sent me new filter foaming generators for this, so I can kind of play around with it, and that's what I'll do. But yeah, I'm definitely going to want to change this to a 1.25. So let me get that orifice and I'll change that out. All right, so they didn't send me a 1.25, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 1.25 out of the newer MJJC, because that is marked 1.25. And it's as simple as just using a flathead screwdriver and just taking it out. Should be the same thread. We're going to take that out. This is the 1.1 that they have here from the factory. They sent me a 0.9, they sent me a 1.35. So, I mean, a 1.35 should be fine, but I want to keep everything like equal, right? So if we're going to be comparing this twin sister with the MJJC, let's do it. You know, let's make sure that same thread and all that. So let's make sure we put the right one back. 1.25. We're going to put that back in here. Thread is exactly the same. All right, so this has a 1.25. And the MJJC has a 1.25. Let's just double check that one more time, because now I'm starting to get a little confused. All right, as I get older, it's not marked, but this is the one that it came with, so 1.25 from the manufacturer. All right, so now the orifices are the same. So the other thing I want to check now is I want to check the internals, right? I want to check the foam generator and compare it with the MJJC and see if they're similar. There's a little pin here that we're trying to get to. All right, little pin, and then we take this and then we just pull it out. Maybe. There. All right, so we took the pin out. Pull this out. And let's just do this. Let's compare. Let's take the MJJC one apart too. Okay, so this one definitely has a thinner barrel than this one. This one looks a lot bigger, actually. I mean, whether or not the internal dimension or the inside dimension is the same, that's probably different. I gotta say, this one definitely looks a little bit less expensive. This has got an O-ring here. It kind of like separates this piece with that piece there. I guess the question is, oh, interesting. Okay, more similar. Now that I took that part off, right? So now I'm starting to dive into it. I'm starting to take these pieces apart. But the barrels are definitely thinner on the SPS than they are on the MJJC. It still aerates here. It still has the two O-rings. Has a double wall guide for this piece in here, which came directly out of this, which is interesting to me that it came out that easy. It looks like for the MJJC, it's kind of locked in a little bit better. Similar design. Well, you know, I'm curious. So let's see. Let's start taking these pieces out, because I'm really curious about that. Okay, so for the SPS, they have the combination of stainless steel filters and the felt in between. Whoops. Oh, geez. So you can see that. Here, I'll show it to you again. And they're 3 independent pieces. Right? See that? So you have the stainless steel, the felt, and then stainless steel again. All right, so that's how that's built. So that's back into position. That's good. The filters are in there, or the foam generator. All right, so that's good. And then we're going to put this back on to the unit. Right? Oh, and then by the way, so the reason for this too is that's where the reason for this is that's where the pin seats, right? And then holds this whole thing back in position. So when you place this back on, right, and then you see that it seats, now I can put this pin back in. Now let's take a look at the MJJC filter. Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting. So when you order the filters from MJJC for this cannon, you can order it, but it comes with a foam filter in between, not a felt. This actually has a felt, and the felt is really thin, actually. So look how thin that is. Can you see that? It's like super thin. It's like literally just a piece of paper. And it's in between these 2 stainless steel filters, just like everything else. And it generates a lot of good foam. Wow, that's pretty cool. It's interesting for sure. All right, well, let's put that back. It doesn't look like this piece, this fan or this pattern piece right here will come out as easily. So we're just going to put the filters back in. So yeah, so there are slight differences. I mean, it is a stainless steel, felt stainless steel setup with the 3 pieces, but the felt on the SPS is definitely larger than the MJJC, which is surprising, to be quite honest, because I would have expected it to be similar. And to be honest, I kind of expected it to be the foam rather than the felt. But, all right, well, hopefully I didn't screw that up. All right, let's see here. The other thing I noticed too is that this is a little bit more stable now that it's heavier because it's got the plasti dip on the bottom. It doesn't fall as easy as this one. So, and you'll see that video how I did that soon enough. But all right, so we have the 1.25 on both of these, right? These 2 little cousin units. They're both definitely slightly different in terms of the build, the quality. The media that's in there is similar, but again, they're slightly different. So, which is interesting to me. You know, I mean, it's every little thing about this, including the bottle, right? This has like a little grip on the side so you can twist it off. This one has like 2 indentations. I don't know if you can see that, right? So you can twist it off when it's wet, you don't slip. The connection, the top connection detail is the only thing that I would say is identical. So, I mean, I think at this point, you know, we just need to basically just use it. Try it out with the same soap mixture and see if they foam up the same, you know. This is selling for like $89 through their website, or you can get it on Amazon or House of Rags. I'll give the links for everything down below. This one I'm working with SPS right now, and you could probably get this for $50, $45. So working with them right now to see. Now, I'm not going to sell this product or even like offer this product up if it doesn't do well. So that's really kind of the telltale sign here. You know, we need to make sure that when we use it, it's going to foam up. It's one thing to look like its twin sister here. It's another thing to actually perform like it. So let's see. Let's see how it does. So now SPS also sells a whole bunch of other products. They sell like, you know, the actual trigger guns. Looks like a nice quality gun, you know. I mean, it's got some stainless steel parts. Looks like the internals are partly brass. I'm assuming if I take this whole thing apart, the whole guts of it's going to be brass, and then the ends are going to be stainless. It does have the swivel at the bottom, so, you know, it's got a 360 on it. I mean, the trigger is nice. Everything seems to be good. Is it the highest quality that I've seen? No. But, you know, they're very inexpensive. I mean, for sure. So you're getting this for, you know, pennies on the dollar compared to some of the other ones, like the MTM that I bought, which is almost essentially like this one, but that one's definitely built better, no question about it. And it's very expensive. I think that gun was like $80, something like that, and this is probably going to be like $10. So anyway, something to consider. You know, they have a whole like catalog full of stuff. I'll see if I could put the link down below also, so you can kind of take a look at what's in their catalog. But again, you know, they have a whole bunch of different things. They sell power washers, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, something to consider. All right, so I decided which soap to use, and I'm going to use Jimbo's Super Soaper. All right, so don't fail me, Jimbo. So we're going to do a quick test. Actually, I got a new bottle of the Jimbo's. Cap off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use, so for 1,000 milliliters, I'm going to put, I would say 4 ounces of material in here. I think that would be enough. Let's use the calculator real quick and just kind of figure that out. It's 3 ounces. Okay, so I'm going to put 4 ounces. So I'm going to give this thing every shot to suds up really well, coat the car, and show us what it's got. So let me show you the condition of the car as it is right now. Let's turn this around. I mean, it's a blue car, right? It was blue. We're in the winter months in New Jersey. We're dealing with the salts. We're dealing with the grime, all that stuff. So do I want this to be perfect? No, right? Because it's in a week, it's going to look the same. Today, it'll look the same. So all I want to do is kind of rinse off the majority of it. I want to get it to a point where it's kind of like a touchless wash. And that's why I'm using Jimbo's, because Jimbo's claims that his is a touchless wash. I've used it before. It does do very well. And hopefully we can get most of this grime off, right? So this is pretty heavy on there. A lot of salt, a lot of grime. Thankfully this has a ceramic coating on here. It's got like a couple different ceramic coatings. And I'm probably in the spring gonna polish this up really quickly and then put another ceramic coating on it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's fill up this container. I'm going to put some water in here. It doesn't have to be warm water or anything like that. I mean, in this case, it's fine. All right, so we're just slightly over 800. Graduated cylinder here. And we're going to go 4 ounces of Jimbo's. This bottle's garbage. 4 ounces of soap. Put this in here. I love how it's liquidy. It's not too thick. It basically brings us to 1,000 milliliters. I was pretty close. I might have to add a little bit more water. All right, perfect. Wasn't a lot. All right, so now we're going to transfer 500 milliliters of this into this one, so we have the same mixture, same solution. Then we can go ahead and go outside and start foaming the car up. This is what we used to do before the wide mouths, right? We actually used the funnel. All right, so 500 milliliters is right here. So 500 milliliters in both bottles. Let's take it out. All right, here we go. I think I want to start off with the MJJC, since we know how that one should work. And we're going to check the PSI too. We're going to just double check to see how much it's drawing. Everything else set up. Alright, so true MJJC fashion. Not bad, right? I actually like it better. It's a softer shaving cream consistency. I mean, it's not bad. It's actually really nice. It's got like a very smooth consistency. I'm going to try to bring this up a little closer so you guys can see this. Right? And Jimbo's definitely pulling the dirt. You can see it. Look at that. So I'm going to let this soak for a little bit, let it dwell, and then see where it takes us. I just want to show you something. I ended up going back to the car with a rinseless wash and a microfiber towel to see like what kind of residual was left. There was a little bit left, but look at this towel. This is after cleaning some of the body panels, half the body panels. It's pretty damn clean, right? So Jimbo, great job on that soap. It is really, truly a touchless soap, perfect for the winter. All right, conclusions. MJJC is still a very good cannon, no question about it. One of the best out there. Works with every soap, never gives me an issue, always seems to work no matter what. Is this a viable option? Is this little cousin here version of it a viable option? I think so. I think for half the price, you're getting a pretty damn good foam cannon. It performed the same, it pulled the same PSI with the 1.25 millimeter orifice. It was about 1300 PSI for both. So it was identical. So that means the draw is the same. Everything is the same. Is the manufacturing a little bit lesser than the MJJC? Possibly a little bit, based on what we saw when we broke it apart. But this is a very good option. I mean, the consistency of the foam when I was placing it on the car was smooth. It wasn't sputtery like the Bear Force. It was like very, very clean. And it was a nice broadcast of foam, right? It wasn't too thick. It wasn't too much like a shaving cream. It was a very good consistency with the same exact material that was inside the MJJC. So you can make the call. I mean, for me, this is a very good option, 100%. So I would definitely consider this, no question about it. So I'm going to see about getting my hands on a few of these so I can get them out to you guys. I'll only sell them for half the price of the MJJC. So I mean, it'll be like 45 bucks a piece. I don't know. I mean, let's see how difficult it is to get our hands on these things and then get them out into the public. At worst case scenario, it's a great number 2, right? You have this one, you're working with the MJJC, right? Still support that company, but at the same time, you have another option just in case you drop this one, if it breaks, you know, I mean, you could definitely, and the price that it would take to get one of these bottles, you might as well get the whole thing. I mean, it's really inexpensive in the scheme of things, and you're getting a really good foam cannon. So in my opinion, they're both excellent. They're both good options. This one's an excellent option. Great job, SPS. Love what you're doing. Keep it up. Your customer service is excellent. You're always communicating with me very well. So, and you're listening. You're paying attention to some of the things that I'm talking about. You know, the things that we need, we don't need. There's another option of a foam cannon without this like little like min-max, you know, setting. So it's just basically the manifold, the draw tube, and a canister, which is HDPE, I think. Well, it might be clear, but anyway. that would be the perfect foam cannon, right? And I think Griot's has a foam cannon like that, where it's just a manifold HDPE bottle with a wide mouth. I mean, simpler the better, right? I've always said that. Keep it simple. All right, well, that's it for today. It's a long one, but I wanted to break this down to you and show you another option for a foam cannon. Peace out.